So if I give you the word, for example, Shaykh Al-Shathari says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created the shams. Right? So for example, if we say, خَلَقَ اللَّهُ الشَّمْس, Allah created the sun. What is intended by this? Did Allah create some of the sun? All of the sun rays? No, we say Allah created the sun, the whole sun. And everything's in the sun, or with it. So this is the whole meaning implied. So when you use words like this with the shaykh or author or someone uses a word intending its entire meaning, it's called dalala mutabaqa. An indication in apply for its entire meaning. If you are trying to imply one meaning or part of the meaning, not the other, means you want a partial meaning and not the entire meaning, this is referred to as dalala tadammun. Dalala by inclusion. So indication, again, if you go back to this example of the sun, if someone says, رَأَيْتُ الشَّمْس, I have seen the sun. What do they mean by this? They mean that they saw some of the sun, right? That what you can see of it in the sky. You can't see the whole sun, right? You can't see the entirety. It's bigger than this. And so all we're intending is, you've seen some of it. Everyone understands that. We don't see means the entire sun, you saw it. No, I saw what human beings can see of the sun. I saw the sun. That's it. So this meaning here, when you say you saw the sun, you mean dalal tadammun. We understand you mean some of the sun you saw. You didn't see entire. You didn't see the whole of the sun. And no one is, of us humans, when possible, it's not capable for us to do that. And the last one, which is different in these two, is that it's called dalalatul iltizam. Indication by way of necessity. It's not within the word. It's a meaning which is not included in the word, whether it be the book and the sunnah, but it's kharij. It's outside the meaning. But it's a necessity that meaning must be there. So if we go back now and say, in the Shaykh's example of sitting under the sun, jalastu fi shams, I sat underneath the sun. What's intended by this? It's not intended that he's meaning mutabaqa, because he's not sitting under the entire sun. He's not sitting under on just part of it. What he's intending is that he's sitting under the rays of the sun, the heat of the sun. Because that's what you can sit underneath the sun of, the fact that it's underneath you, the light of it is heat. So here we see that in his kitab and the sunnah, you can see that the words that are used in them, can carry these different indications. An easy way to kind of show this example, Shaykh Uthaymin gives that of a house. He says, for example, ad-dar. If we say the word house or abode. When we say the word house by itself, dalal mutabaqa. Because what do you mean by that? House, and then everything inside the house. Rooms, and you have this and that. So everything, house, and everything's in the house. Roof, bedrooms, etc. If I say dar, a house, and what I intend by that is just the rooms, this will be called dalal tadammun. I'm using the word for its only subtle partial meaning, which is just the rooms. I'm not talking about the whole house, I'm just talking about the rooms. But I use the word house to refer to it. Or you might use the word house and you refer to it with the meaning of home, a place you sleep, not literally a house. But the last part is what's outside of that. So if someone says a house, so if a house has rooms, it has a roof, by necessity it has to have a builder, somebody who built the house. That's iltizam. You don't see a house and say, oh, there's a house. Everyone knows someone built the house. And some of the ulama use it as proof when they try to establish the proof for Allah's existence. The creation has to have a creator. That's iltizam. You see, I see everything around me. I can't see a house. Or Ibn Jawzi gives the example, you pass by one area and you see nothing. You came back again, is a house or a room or a wall is erected. You're not going to say it came by itself. But iltizam, someone put it up there. So a house has to have a builder. So if you use the example of house, when you say house, all meanings are included. If you say the house meaning rooms, that's tadammun. If I say a house, I include also the one who built it. So these type of understandings help you when you look at the kitab and the sunnah, and especially the ahkam. Because the ulama, when they look at the nusus, they come to rulings sometimes based on these different intended meanings of the text. So if and the kitab and the sunnah can carry these meanings, it's important that somebody understands that. The Shaykh ends the chapter mentioning this, and he mentions as well that the meanings for iltizam, they follow by necessity what is already intended, either by the mutabaq or the tadammun. Then he says an easy example to keep in your mind is the one we mentioned before. مَا لَمْ يُتِمُّ الْوَاجِبِ إِلَّا بِهِ فَهُوَ وَاجِبٌ. That principle is an example of iltizam, dalalatul iltizam. Why? For example, you need to do something that's wajib, like prayer, or to go to the congregation in prayer. So you have now your wudu, you have now the prayer to pray, but you can't get there. So by necessity, this principle came to show that that which is going to help you fulfill an obligation, it too is obligation. Because by necessity, you have to get the obligation done. So he says this is an example coming by that by necessity, if something is going to help you complete wajib, by two, it has to be part of it. It's part of the meaning of wajib. Even though the meaning of wajib may not in the action itself include that. So these are the points that he mentions in this chapter. And inshallah, as we continue in the book and we review these points, it becomes easier to understand for those who might have a hard time understanding it initially. Inshallah, if anyone has any questions or points they want to add, they can do so, inshallah. طيب إن شاء الله سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك